It always begins the same way. You meet her and feel like you've stumbled into something rare, something electric. You feel the warmth of her eyes linger a moment too long. The subtle softness in her voice when she says your name. The way her laughter seems to ripple through you like music. You tell yourself this is real. You want so badly for it to be real. A blank canvas onto which she can project every hope, every fantasy, every half-formed dream she's carried since childhood. You mistake her fascination for recognition. You hear it in the way she says, "I've never felt like this before," or "You're not like the others." And you believe it because you've been starving to hear those words. You've been aching for someone to make you feel chosen. But you don't see the pattern stretching back through her life. The sudden infatuations, the whirlwind romances, the heartbreaks she never fully explained. You don't see how each man before you was told the same words, played the same role, until he failed to live up to the script. But what you're really feeling is the pull of her imagination, a force older than both of you, powerful enough to make you question your own reflection. He knew that what most call love is often nothing more than projection, a desperate attempt to find in another person what we refuse to find in ourselves. He saw how women, especially, project their inner animus, the masculine energy within them, onto men they admire, desire, or idealize. From the time you were small, you were taught that your worth is confirmed by a woman's attention, that to be loved by her is proof you matter, that to keep her interested is the only way to prove your masculinity. So you try harder. You shape yourself into what you think she wants. Softer, stronger, funnier, more successful. You perform. You mold. You adapt. And each time you do, you drift further from the man you were meant to become. And he understood the tragedy that follows when men mistake that projection for true love. Because you've been waiting for someone who sees you, who understands the parts of you you've kept hidden from everyone else. It's not about learning how to keep women interested. It's not about becoming more attractive or more alpha. It's about burning every false self you've created to win approval, until only your truest core remains. They'll stay trapped in the loop of performance and rejection, alternating between rage and self-pity, blaming women for their pain while refusing to see their own part in it. Because facing your own unconscious wounds, your own fears of inadequacy, your own desperate hunger for validation, it's excruciating. It demands that you stop letting anyone, even the most beautiful, fascinating woman you've ever met, determine whether you're enough. It asks you to stand alone, stripped of illusions, and confront the terrifying possibility that you may have built your entire life around trying to be chosen. It's easier to keep pretending, to keep seeking the next woman who will crown you king, if only for a little while. But the truth is, what she sees isn't you. It's the outline of you, the suggestion of you. You wonder what you did to make her love you one day and despise you the next, because your refusal to act, to flatter, to play along will terrify those who aren't ready to face their own projections. They will call you cold, arrogant, emotionally unavailable. They will accuse you of being distant or aloof. But those who endure, those who let the discomfort burn away their illusions, emerge with something priceless: sovereignty. A man who chooses himself without apology becomes untouchable. Not in the sense of invulnerability, but in the sense that no one's fantasy can ensnare him again. You start to attract women who have done their own work, Women who aren't looking for a savior or a puppet. Women who don't need you to complete them. Women who stand in their own wholeness and meet you eye to eye, not from need, but from choice. But what they're really saying is that you can no longer be controlled. You sift through your words, your silences, your moods. When you seek their approval, they feel it like a tremor beneath every word you speak. When you twist yourself into knots trying to please them, they sense your desperation like a scent in the air. They will not rush you with declarations of destiny. They will not try to mold you or test you or seduce you with the promise of completing your life. Not the man they fantasize about, but the man they need. A man who sees them without illusions. A man who cannot be manipulated because he refuses to manipulate himself. And in those rare moments, something real begins. Something that does not require masks or scripts or performances. Something that feels like home. A man whose presence is a mirror so clear it reflects every hidden truth. Instead, they will stand before you as they are, unmasked, unafraid, willing to see you without illusion and let you see them the same way. No clinging, no games. Only a quiet, powerful recognition that you are both whole enough to choose each other freely. Don't waste your life chasing approval or fleeing solitude. Walk the long, lonely road of becoming real. Burn away the lies. Stand in your truth. And when you finally meet a woman who has done the same, you will know what Jung meant when he said that the meeting of two whole souls is the rarest, most dangerous kind of love because it demands nothing but offers everything. That your love is born not of mutual need, but of mutual respect. That you can walk side by side without leaning on each other for balance, because each of you has found your own center. It will cost you every illusion you've ever cherished, but it will give you something far greater, the freedom to live as the man you were meant to be. And when you finally reveal your neediness, that bottomless void you hope their love will fill, they feel an instinctive wave of revulsion, even if they don't understand why. You try to pinpoint the exact moment the light left her eyes, but the truth is painfully simple. You didn't do anything except reveal yourself. It demands that you face your own emptiness without seeking someone else to fill it. It demands that you stay alone long enough to hear the sound of your own soul until you know its voice so well that no woman's approval could ever drown it out. And that was the one thing the fantasy could not survive. A man who stands rooted in himself, who offers love freely but never from lack, who can look into her stormiest moods and remain unshaken. A man who sees her clearly, without illusion, and allows her the freedom to face her own shadows without trying to rescue her from them. She doesn't wake up plotting to mold you into her fantasy. Her projections feel like truth to her. She feels the chemistry. She feels the pull. She believes with every fiber of her being that you are who she hopes you are. Until the day reality intrudes and you disappoint her by simply being human. Then the fantasy cracks and the blame begins. Not just blame of you, but blame of herself for choosing wrong, for letting herself hope, for falling once again for a man who turned out to be ordinary. You think this is love, that you're special, different from every man who came before, because what she's searching for isn't a partner. It's a mirror to reflect the image of the man she wants to believe exists. A man who can make her feel safe yet excited, adored yet challenged, comfortable yet endlessly fascinating. A man who can soothe her wounds without confronting her with his own. And as long as you play your lines well, as long as you smile at the right moments and hide your darkness, she will pour all her light into you. But the moment you slip, the moment your real, imperfect self stumbles into the scene, you shatter the illusion. The man she loved never existed. He was a projection, a ghost, a hope wearing your face. And when the fantasy collapses, you don't just lose her affection. You lose your sense of who you thought you were. You start to question every word she ever spoke, every touch, every promise. Was any of it real? Or were you just a character in a play you never agreed to join? Carl Jung spent his life exploring these hidden dynamics, mapping the secret currents of the unconscious that pull men and women together and then tear them apart. Because men, you've been conditioned to crave being chosen more than anything else. And what makes this game so insidious is that she doesn't do it consciously. Meanwhile, you're left staring at the ruins of something that felt sacred. Jung taught that the only escape from this endless cycle is individuation, the ruthless, often lonely process of owning every part of yourself. Most men won't even begin this journey, but individuation demands you stop looking outward for proof of your worth. And women sense this more deeply than they ever admit, because the feminine doesn't long for a man who bends to her will. It longs for a man who cannot be bent at all. But here's the bitter paradox. The moment you stop performing, you risk losing every woman who still lives in fantasy. This is the crucible few men survive. Most retreat at the first sign of rejection, scurrying back to familiar patterns, convinced that wholeness is too costly a price. And in that space of quiet strength, something unexpected happens. These women are rare, but you will recognize them instantly. And in that meeting of two sovereign souls, there is no desperation. But reaching this point demands everything. It demands that you die before you die, that you let the old, false selves fall away one by one. And here is the greatest irony. The more you stand rooted in yourself, the more you become the very man women are drawn to. Some will flee from that mirror. Others will stand trembling before it, grateful for the chance to finally meet themselves through your unwavering gaze. The path to this kind of love is not for the faint-hearted. It is a path of radical responsibility, ruthless honesty, and relentless self-respect. So don't look for shortcuts. Don't seek comfort in shallow advice or clever tricks.